Well, sometimes you wake up and you just want to chat, don't you? And you start dichotomizing it all. Then what's it all about, really? Because, frankly, it's all weird to some of us. We get here, and I'm listening to a lot of people that talk about New Earth and different ideas. And I really like what they're saying. And it's sort of like, if you're Will Smith's boy, Jaden, and you've got these ideas and you're affluential or influential, you can do stuff about it and sway the currents and tides for people. Because for each generation, it should be progressive. Progressive in a positive, more liberated, joy enhancing way. Because what I can't help but notice that people they were happy, and happy as people can be on a farm, but there was always this sort of like level of discontentment, isn't there? And it's like, what is it? Not every parent wants to send their kids to school. I certainly wouldn't be sending my kids to places like Thomas Tallis or John Roan, not now that it has security on doors. There's no way that a child of mine is going there, because that's just not an environment that you want to entertain and make thrive because of the new age of internet and connectivity. Now, when you're exposed to enough of the world, you gravitate to people in places like California that are talking about new earths, and you're all coached up and healed from a barrage of just energetics in life and people. And energetically, it's just not right, is it? You think about it, it's like you're plopped on a farm. There's a person on my Facebook, and he's sort of living the life, and he goes to Glastonbury and sells pictures, goes over there, he's a bit nomadic. And you go like, that's a lifestyle I think that I would probably gravitate to if I was a boy, or if I was in a certain demographic. It's not really, I don't really want to be that person, but it's not really acceptable for girls and blah 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 blah, and people look upon certain sort of lifestyle choices as inferior to having bricks and mortar wrapped around you and being all about that. And it's all choices, isn't it? But the point is, it's not until you're later in life you can actually sort of like have a discerning eye about what you want and what makes you happy, because you're forced into things. It's like you will learn, and when you leave school, you go to university or you get a job, or you will, and you can have a year gap year, and if you want, and it's like so farmy yardy, in it. It's like, really, that's the choices I can go, and I have people telling me what you do. And when you go to job centres, it's ridiculous even there. It's like, we'll get you work placement. It's like, okay, find your own work placement or you will get put on one. Got put on one, whatever. And then it was like, I found myself one. I'd like to go here to this place, because if I have to get a job, I think I wouldn't mind working around theatre, getting a job in stage productions. And then it's like, okay, I've got myself a place. No, but didn't you go to the induction there already? No, sorry, can't do that. Okay, so I can't go to the theatre placement that I found myself. You're going to send me on 2 buses all the way to Warpington to make bird boxes instead of being in the bird's nest theatre at the time. It's like, wow. So energetically, people really violate your boundaries, violate your existence, violate your course of like where you're going, and it's all like that. And you let people just do it willingly, and you think your family don't even have anything to say about it, really. They're like, people within a state structure are disaffecting your path and your journey and fucking with you. And does anybody really care? Nobody really cares, do they? And they start to think like, well, you're on your own, kid, aren't you? Really, you are actually on your own, kid. But when you try to do just that, be on your own, that was when stuff got started funky. Like, and people, it's like you're committing a crime just for saying to yourself, you're on your own, kid, and trying to do it for yourself. And it's like, then you're getting sort of like, you feel like, oh my God, I must have been so sort of like fear-based person about state doing everything, that the minute I just try to thrive on my own or run around festivals or free will and go on a little adventure, is that there's weird shit happening. Or there's like, being run off a road by a police car. And that was a controlled collision, was it not? Was that? And then all of a sudden, because you're doing stuff that's outside their scope of what should be on a farm. And that's how I think it is, like the law of attraction, that you just manifest negatives in the form of authorities or whatever because you think that you're doing something wrong and you're just trying to be liberated. So what's that all about? So it's, when you really look at it, you need people just saying, well, I think that the world has become more one, and the land of the rising sun, everybody's gravitating to, like Japan and places, and people are really close knit together, and we've all got different cultures behind us, different ideas, but it's open. People should be able to do this, or homeschool. You should be able to, like, gypsy lifestyle, the gypsy flag. It's like, who's your favourite sporting person? The Gypsy King, because it's just like, I think like he's the realest person out there. He talks in a way, talks down to earth, common, good. And that's what people are at heart. I think there's that commonality more than there is the infrastructure en masse. When you all are all connected, which inevitably is what happens, that the world does get more connected. We used to be all continents joined together. The minute that starts to happen, you realise you're all the same, and you don't actually want the things that politicians and people with money and rule and power tripping are trying to achieve and never have. And I took the piss in saying, like, you know, when you're younger, it's like you listen to people talk about war and you inherently know that these people are cracked in the nut and there's some sort of lizard race doing something. It's not even the royal family, it's puppeteering, whatever. It's something else, because everybody was seeking shelter in Africa, all over the continents, the elite, probably then exactly the time that they decided they were going to orchestrate this as a unit, elite cabal, unshadows, conspiracy theories, whatever. But, you know, they can't, they say they map out everything as well, even like things like 9/11, because on the front of Forbes, the bloke had, it was always, his watch was always set at 9/11, like 5 to 9. And so it was like pre-planned, built to knock down eventually. And it's all about influencing financial stuff. So, and they're all like about not being money motivated because it's just an energy and it's just a fallacy. And so all those like new agey stuffy things, yeah. So really, why are you going to school for if you do believe in new earths? Can't you learn at home? Education, writing, reading and writing, that's all you need really, isn't it? Reading and writing. Maths if you like it. You know, it's like, oh, we have to be pioneers and we have to be buildy people. Not everybody is like that. They just want to be on the planet and party at full moon festivals and chase the party around the globe. Some people just want to do that. The privileged are allowed to do that. They're even allowed to do it whilst other people are on lockdowns. So, you know, it is what it is. There's always a dominant power thing, isn't there, play? But, like, I cannot stress enough that just by design, being born in this place and time and having the jobs that I had and being pushed into all those roles, it just made for a literal dot connecting, solving, community-based care infrastructure that can thrive outside of the system for people. It's not like saying, oh, give up on all that. That is already there. It suffices perfectly well. But not always, because if you've lived enough of a life in London, you hear people's horror stories and their deficits and their botched jobs and their strange attitude towards people. And there's this sort of almost like malevolence almost within state institutes. There's a malevolence that goes with it. And you find it sometimes in healthcare, you find it obviously in authority positions, but even in schooling positions. I don't know if it is just unique to me, but I felt perhaps because of a drinking culture around a person, or casting assumptions on children, or sort of like, or cutting them out for something, or making them feel put upon in a way that is just not all the other kids' treatment. You're giving certain kids certain treatments, so they turn out a certain way or whatever. And I probably, looking back at that, was very much shaped by my primary school years. And it had an arts council above every lesson. Arts. I am the creator. I'm listening to somebody who's very informative and it's very enriching. And it's like, You could say you are the creator of your own life. And reality bends to your joy. And it's just owning yourself energetically in ways which is all about manifestation, obviously. But you have to own yourself fully in order to step to the next level, because energetically, if you've been violated and boundaries stamped all over and people walloping all over you, it takes so long to repair and re-come at it and collaborate, because they're saying if you're living in a fear vibration or a this vibration or that vibration, you don't step up, because you're just inadvertently just being manipulated by all these energetics all over you. So you're not really standing out, because you haven't had the time to get out of survival mode and be more heart coherent, and then from that place do what you're doing. But if you're lucky enough to come from a family like my mum and dad, they did the best that they can with the sense that they got, but they really don't know what's going on, because the authorities have been throwing their weight all over me, and then they go, oh, well, we must be doing something wrong. People always think like that, don't they? We must be doing something wrong, especially when they're submissives, subservients, and watch nothing but, for some reason, law-based stuff. Like, if it's not heartbeat, then it's bloody, it's border control. It's always got the border control on, always got the police interceptors on, always got the police on. And it's like, fuck's sake, do I have to watch this shit in every room and these fuckers invading your whole life? And that's what it basically feels like, doesn't it? And it's not really okay. I don't consent to it. And at all points, everybody's just supposed to say non-consent. But I feel like the police feel like they're a law unto themselves. It's like, what did I ever do to you fucks? Other than be pushed around, manipulated from the get-go. So there's an inherent sort of like malevolence a little bit about them towards some people. It's because they can't wrap their head around whatever they can't wrap their head around, maybe. I don't know, whatever it is that drives the malevolence that started attacking me. But until you've sat in a interview room answering personal questions about, and they've got a letter in front of them going, well, why did you write this letter? It's like, what the fuck business is it of yours, you prying little Percy? What the fuck is that? It's like, and you've got those people that are acting like, have they got carried away on a coke habit or something? Why are they violating a person's boundaries and think that they can actually sit here and have me, like, look at them with any more sort of respect to just be violating your private life? What's that? It's like, that happened in 2020. Does anyone give a fuck? Did anyone start? It's like, and then it's like your family, after years of sort of energetically realising that you're on your own, kid, you go, I don't feel the need to talk to people anymore, because they're not sympathetic. They think it's all right to have your privacy violated like that. They think it's all right to have people keep putting you in a room where you have to beg for water. They think that's normal. I don't think they've actually been in my shoes, so is there any point in talking to these people anymore? Not really. So it's part of the process, isn't it? Now, I find myself compromised at the moment, and I don't want anything to change. I don't want anything to change, because I'm learning and in the most enriched place I could possibly imagine being. I get to listen to people that enhance my life. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, life. Thank you for, if you can't go out the door and quest information and look for the information yourself, isn't it nice that there's people that present information and give you the stuff that you've been thirsting for knowledge-wise the whole time anyway? But it's not fair to opportune on people, and that is basically what the police become to me, opportunists. It's like, I don't feel like I can travel around because they're being unprofessional and opportunistic towards me. And because of the nature of plain clothes arrests during COVID at airport or beachfront, where it was definitely click, click, click on my phone and somebody was listening to get that details and location to just fly at me at the beach. So when it becomes like that, and then they're in hoodies in your local area, and it's all very fabricated, the vibe of the accusation, and they didn't knock on my door even though they had my details, which doesn't add up and don't make no sense. So therefore you're getting attacked in your local area opportunistically, doing stuff that's just weird and opportunistic. And you're looking at people on here and they talk about Teslas and people because they've got freedom of thought. the age of the internet has come and gone, mate. Like, you're fighting a losing battle if you're the sort of people that are trying to suppress people and do stupid shit to people, because you're not God. Nobody's God. We are just a collective of people that now have collectively shared all their wealth of information, and you've lost the game. You lost the match. You lost the battle. You lost the war. If there was ever a war that was trying to sort of suppress people, because the internet arrived. I mean, it's like, that's what people talk about, people doing woke crimes. What the fuck are they on? What are you on? Everybody's woke. You don't have a monopoly over people anymore. Your little egoic battles are long fought and lost. And it's like, there's no heart coherence with those people. They literally are. I think they're on cocaine. That's my natural conclusion after living a bit of a life. I have to say that they're chemically enhanced in the wrong possible egoic, over self-smuggy, boundary violating, hostile, aggressive way, which is generally what is brought about by certain narcotics. So that is actually what I've concluded from my experiences, and that's talking as an authority that was a town centre warden and has come across plenty of people on cocaine and has sampled it once or twice for free. Not bought it, but it come to the area when they had the Powder Monkey, that was the old cricketers pub and is now a pie and mash shop. So it's like, it come to me. The film world has it imbued in its culture. Obviously, politics have it imbued in their culture when they put Eton boys and whatever. So it's like, cocaine is quite common, actually, you find, and it's probably very common in the confines of policing. And I don't think they get their bloods tested, do they? They don't get it tested. So it's like, when the malevolence and the sort of like insensitivity becomes illegal and illicitly and quite aggressive, and you can't find law systems to even fight it because the pink owls are closed down, you're like, that's what happens when you do cocaine, someone said. It's like, okay, people's third eyes get messed with, but once it's out of your system for over decades, should it really play a part in your life or your world? No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It hasn't been in my world for a decade. I don't want it in my world. I don't want it around me. I don't want drugs to pass into this divine being's system or anywhere near it. But when it becomes a case of like, the authorities are the ones actually probably perpetuating the aggressivity and the hostility, that's not acceptable. And when they're doing things like letting people, what the stuff you read in the news, you get a sense that there's something not quite right there. That's a desensitised outfit that's not operating ethically. And I'm pretty sure backhanders and stuff like that's pretty evil. It's pretty Gotham out there. So, do I get concerned for my own safety within that construct? Of course, because I shouldn't be anywhere near that construct. That construct is that construct. You're trying to sort of like imbue people in this culture of it, like EastEnders, the famous people that do it and stuff like that, and say it's all in, all in, all in. But it's actually quite horrible and desensitised to people that have been away from it, don't want to be imbued back into it. And they've done all the experimented they wanted to do in their youth, and whilst they're a bit younger, not that bothered about it. And the only way you would touch it again is if you had a whole fucking legal crew behind you and people, because that's what it comes down to. It's all like a supremacy thing, isn't it? Because if you're at the bottom and you're doing coke, it's just like, we'll just slap you about, school of hard knocks you via the system and everything else. And they have their intel and they have their places, especially around South East London, I think. They have their music venues and stuff, and people all know everybody's kind of like business. So it's like, that goes from a venue into an architecture, and so you might get targeted. 2016, I'm saying, I think you might get targeted on account of, because of the social life that you might have at the time around places. So that's what I'm saying. And then it's like, you want to imbue people into your ideas of what that person is about, because people like it. They think they like known familiarity. They like to know what they think that they know, but they don't. They don't, because every day is a new dawn and a new day, and you should have the right to be free in that and cultivate a certain philosophy. And most people that think like me actually do gravitate to being in monasteries up mountains. So like, it's like, could you just fuck off and leave me alone, please, for the most part, actually. And if I'm in a pub and I'm singing and I'm happy, just could you fuck off and leave me alone, please? I don't care if you call yourself a supervisor or a pub. That's what you go to a pub for, to get happy and sing, isn't it? Oh, last time I checked, what's the fucking point? Oh, no, we use it. You get happy, we'll just manipulate you into CCTV footage and maybe sell you down the river in your own hometown. Fuck you, Gypsy Moth staff. You should really retract your statements.